Hi, welcome to the video where we will provide you with more information on two-year funding and answer any questions that you might have. So let's go on to our first question. Is my child old enough?
Children can access a 2-year-old funded place for the term following their second birthday. So if they're born between the 1st of April and the 31st of August, they can start from the September following their second birthday. For those born between the 1st of September and the 31st of December, it will be January. And for those born 1st of January to the 31st of March, they can start from the April following their second birthday.
That's great. Do I meet the criteria and how would I apply?
So there's two ways that you can apply. If you meet one of the benefit criteria that I'll go through in a moment, then you would apply online at parentportal.redbridge.gov.uk. So the benefit criteria would be if you're on income support, JSA, ESA, you're in receipt of the guaranteed element of state pension credit, or if you're on the working tax credit 4-week run-on. You'll also be eligible if you're on universal credit and your combined household income is less than £15,400 a year after tax, or if you're in receipt of tax credits and your income is under £16,190 before tax. As I say, for any of those criteria, you apply online at parentportal.redbridge.gov.uk. There's also other criteria that you can't apply online for. This is if your child is looked after by a local authority or has previously been under their care and left under a special guardianship order, child arrangements order or adoption order. They'll also be eligible if they've got a current EHC plan or are in receipt of disability living allowance. There's also eligibility criteria for those who are outside of the EEA area. This is if you are a Zambrano carer and are on less than £15,400 a year. If you have the right to remain in the UK under Article 8 of the European Convention of Human Rights and are subject to no recourse to public funds and on less than £15,400 a year after tax. If you're in receipt of support under Section 4 of the Immigration and Asylum Act, or if you've been assessed as being vulnerable and meet Section 17 criteria and have no recourse to public funds. If any of these criteria apply to you, you need to complete a manual application. Go to find.redbridge.gov.uk for more information.
I qualify for the two-year funding, but will this affect my benefits?
No. So this doesn't have any impact whether you apply or access a funded place for your child on any of the benefits you might be in receipt of. What we do need you to be aware of, though, is if you're receiving contributions towards childcare costs, for example, through universal credit, tax credits or student bursaries, then obviously because you are paying less, you will be entitled to less support through the childcare costs. To find out if this is going to impact you, please contact either the Universal Credit Helpline, the Tax Credit Helpline or your Student Support Officer. But as I said, it won't affect any of your usual household benefits.
How do I find a setting?
So we've got a full list of settings that offer the two-year-old funding. This is on our website at find.redbridge.gov.uk. Each term we also hold a list of those that are going to have vacancies in the coming months.
Can I access the funding at more than one setting?
Absolutely. You can claim your funding at up to 3 different settings as long as they're not based on more than 2 premises. However, that's more likely for children who are accessing school and will also be doing breakfast and after school places. If you want to access your place over 2 different settings, for example with a preschool and a childminder, then you can certainly do this, as long as you don't exceed the maximum hours per week, which is 15 hours a week during term time.
Will I have to pay anything extra?
So if you're only accessing the 15 hours, then you shouldn't have to pay anything extra on top as a mandatory payment. If your child is receiving the funded hours, then you won't be expected to make a payment unless you are being offered additional services such as meals and snacks. However, if you can't afford to pay for meals and snacks on top of the funded session. Then speak to the setting about whether you can provide a packed lunch for your child or provide their snack each day. If you want to access additional hours outside of the funding place, so more than 15 hours a week, then you can also have the option to pay for additional hours or for additional services, for example, if they provide language classes. Regardless, all childcare providers have to have a clear and concise charging policy so that there's no misunderstanding of costs, and the arrangements for payment are a private matter. If you're asked to pay for your child's funded place in advance, or if you've got any concerns about how your place has been calculated, please contact Find for further advice.
What happens if I'm stopped being eligible for the 2-year funding?
So it doesn't matter. As long as your child's already started accessing their 2-year-old place, it doesn't matter if your circumstances change. Your child will continue to be eligible to access that place until they move on to the universal funding, which every 3 and 4-year-old is entitled to.
Can my child still access a place if they're not talking yet?
Absolutely. Children learn from other children through play and interaction. Accessing a 2-year-old funding place can really support your child's communication and language development.
And can my child still access a place if they're not toilet trained?
Yes, of course. This shouldn't prevent any child from accessing their 2-year-old funded place. Nurseries, preschools and childminders can also be a great support during the potty training process.
Does my child have access to the full 15 hours?
Not at all. If you don't feel they're ready to access 5 days a week or the full 15 hours, you can speak to settings about whether they've got part-time places available. Children can really benefit from just 2 or even 3 sessions per week. These are usually done in 3-hour sessions once a day.
There's no more.
Okay, so how do we find out more? If we haven't answered all of your questions today, you can visit our website at find.redbridge.gov.uk. You can contact your local children's centre or book into one of our live 2-year-old funding sessions where we can answer any further questions that you may have. Please visit find.redbridge.gov.uk/children's centres for dates of our next sessions. Thank you for joining us.